Hello again. In this video, I will introduce Xamarin in full to you so that you know how to go about it, how to set up, and what is Xamarin and what you can do with Xamarin and a lot more. Xamarin is actually a cross-platform app in C# with Xamarin.Forms. You are building a mobile app using C# and it's cross-platform. That is, it can run on Windows Phone, Windows desktop, Windows operating system, Android and iOS. All you need to do is just to build it once and deploy it in all the mobile devices. Of course, if you want to deploy it on iOS, there are other further configurations. But throughout this video or this course, we're going to be using Android Studio, Android phones as our main um, emulator. So let me quickly talk about mobile app trending and development. Basically, mobile app users are increasing day by day. Most people are turning to mobile. They prefer to have apps downloaded on their phone so that it could be very easy for them to access. And I believe you might want to target all the users. That is, you want to target people that are using iOS, people that are using Android and Windows. No, well, Windows Phone, they've stopped production of Windows Phone. So I think basically we're going to target Android and iOS. And of course, the beauty of the beauty of Xamarin is that you can deploy apps on Windows Phone as well. So you still be able to target um, users on Windows Phone. Okay, so mobile app development. Um, for you to develop on iOS, basically, you need to write. They have their own development framework, which is Xcode. That is for you to develop apps directly on iOS. You are supposed to use, or you must use Xcode, IDE, and Swift, which is Objective C, which is not common in our area, in this area, because not many people are iOS developer. And for Android, of course, Android, they have their own IDE, which is Android Studio, and the programming language is Java, and you need Android SDK. So the programming language for iOS is actually Swift and Objective C. It's not that common in this area because we don't usually have iOS developer in this area. But with the beauty of Xamarin and hybrid code, you'll be able to write on all the platform. And of course, Visual Studio, for you to develop apps on Windows application or Windows Phone rather, you need Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, C# and .NET library. Okay, but with the power of Xamarin now, you can deploy your application on these three all at once. So you don't necessarily have to write code for this and this and that. So that is why I prefer to use Xamarin. Of course, you can use something else like React Native and Ionic, PhoneGap and all that. But to me, the learning curve for Xamarin is better. That is, you can easily port to another programming language. You can easily port to other aspects like game development and all that. Okay, advantages and challenges of using this type of development. The advantage is that by the time you develop the application, you see the native look and feel. It will be exactly the same thing. You can't even differentiate between the two. Native pages, layout, and settings. You can't even say, oh, this application was developed by Xamarin and this application by native and all that. But the disadvantage here is that you can't actually share the code outside C# Visual Studio. For instance, you can't port the code from C# to native iOS, so other languages. Then multiple teams. It's difficult to have multiple teams like that. Take longer time for development because you need to have um, you need to develop quite a number of things before you can get things up and running. So it may take longer time. So what is Xamarin basically? Xamarin is an application development platform that lets you build applications from many platforms with a single shared code base. You can use Visual Studio for Windows or Mac for development, but it is extremely tedious. I'm not sure if it's possible to use Visual Studio Code. So if you're going for mobile app development, you might need to, it's a must for you to download um, Visual Studio. You can use Visual Studio Code for it. Okay, performance. Xamarin apps are fully native, so in Xamarin you can enjoy fully native performance with shared code. I think I've said that. You build UI UX with dynamic page layout. I'm going to show you some of the things we have built with Xamarin in the next video. So you can easily do data binding. You can connect API, animation API, dependency, messaging center, and lots more. Virtually, just think of anything you want to do. Xamarin can do it for you. So the advantages and disadvantages of using Xamarin: it is native app, shared basic business logic, you share the UI on all the platform. One Xamarin development team required to develop apps for multiple platforms, less development time, full hardware support. So it's not that your app will not cannot run effectively. No, your app will work the same way it ought to be. But the major disadvantage of using Xamarin is that your app will be larger than native apps developed by Android Studio if you're targeting Android um, apps, Android OS. For instance, now suppose you have an app of maybe 20 megabytes in size. If you develop it with Xamarin, it could be 20 megabytes. But if you develop that same app with Android Studio, it will be around 8 to 10 megabytes. So that's the only disadvantage you have using Xamarin for. But it doesn't really matter these days anyway, because more advanced phone is being released every day. So you can't share code outside Xamarin, like I said at that time. Okay, let me talk about Xamarin versus hybrid. One thing you need to get straight: all frameworks are proven successful in building great multiple apps, whether you are using React Native or Ionic or PhoneGap. It doesn't really matter. It's just for you to get what you want to do. I decided to choose C Sharp because with the power of C Sharp, I can actually write apps on virtually all devices, games, PlayStation, Xbox, and all that. And with hybrid, the learning curve is a bit cumbersome, it's just like front end. So if you are a front end developer, you should be thinking, I'm going to be teaching React Native there as well. So you should be thinking about the um, porting from front end development to mobile app development, things like that. Okay, so the language is C. On Xamarin we use C Sharp, and for hybrid it's basically JavaScript. For pricing, they are both open source. And performance, this one is fully supported by 64-bit mode and also provide the fastest. So if you're using 32-bit OS or machine, you might not be able to write Xamarin effectively. It's going to be too slow. So no 32-bit mode for Android, but provide custom UI design. Since it's like a web app being wrapped inside the browser, that is hybrid. So scalability, more scalable compared to React Native, gives a full set of widgets and provide native look and feel to application. And this for hybrid, comparatively less scalable, but at least you will still be able to do quite a number of things with your React Native or Iconic. For the development time, development environment, it's going to be Visual Studio. For this developments with controls and layouts save a lot of time while building an app. The ability of Xamarin and NuGet plugins. Now I'm going to explain the NuGet plugins by the time we start the project. With the NuGet plugin, you don't necessarily have to build everything from scratch. You just have to download plugins and all that and attach it. So for the hybrid development environment, is you can use any platform, any IDE. You can use Notepad plus plus, and all that. So you can use Visual Studio Code as well. And the development speed is very hot, and it's not that time wasting. It's very easy to use Visual Studio Code for hybrid for React Native. And these are people using Xamarin and Airbnb, Walmart, Skype, Tesla, and all that. For hybrid, we have Slack, we have Facebook Messenger, and all that. In the next video, we will get our hands dirty with code and we'll build our first Xamarin app. Thank you.